All right, Gator. First of all, the premise you gave that you have to have a great quarterback to win it all. Is this year an example that you don't have to have a great quarterback to win it all? Especially if Seattle wins it all.
Well, I was going to say Drake May might be runner-up to the MVP vote. I think that Sam Darnold's had a really good regular season. He's had a great postseason, two great postseason games for him. So he's playing at that level.
Nobody would ever call him a great quarterback.
They might start. Has he not been great the last 2 games he's played?
He has, but I think 2 games doesn't make you a great quarterback.
No, but a great playoff run does. People will consider that.
And when you win playoff games, and you are a big contributor, I always talk about the definition of elite quarterback. I think you have to win multiple playoff games where basically you won them because of you. And I don't know if they'd say that about Darnold. Darnold's been really good, though. There's no doubt.
He was really good in the game.
Which is hard for you to admit.
It is, because I don't like him. Yeah. But I got to call it how I see it right now.
So our guy just said, do we think this might be a low-rated Super Bowl because of the defenses and that these are defensive-minded coaches? I don't particularly spend too much concern with the television network ratings. And if I'm entertained, I don't care what the TV ratings are. And I'm somewhat surprised sometimes how much people do seem to care about TV ratings, although TV ratings are reflective to whether or not it is appealing to people above and beyond your sport and your typical fan base. Because let's face it, there is a large portion of sports fans and football fans that are going to watch the Super Bowl no matter who's in it. But this is, of the last 12 Super Bowls, they either had Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes, with one exception. And that was Stafford versus Burrow. Is it possible that this won't have the mass appeal because it doesn't have the marquee quarterback?
No, I don't think so. I think people just love the Super Bowl. And I think what you have is, like I mentioned earlier about Drake May, I mean, he might be the runner-up for the MVP. And he's in his second year in the league. So getting in the bottom level, if you will, of fandom for a great quarterback, I think that is there. Now, maybe mass appeal isn't there because of these teams.
And that's the only thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because the football fans watching.
But I still think people are going to watch it because it is the Super Bowl. And as the game, if it's a compelling game, we know the ratings go up and up and up because people will find out about it. I don't think people are looking for excuse to do something else this year on Super Bowl Sunday.
Gang, what do you think? 11 of the last 12 Super Bowls have had Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes, and this one has neither. The one that didn't was Rams and Bengals, and that was 2 pretty big quarterbacks there.
Yeah, usually quarterbacks, they're the star player, of course. Everyone knows who they are. They're easily marketable. I don't think it matters with the NFL as much anymore. There's such a juggernaut of ratings that they just put up a game and everyone's going to watch. And I think there is a story with Darnold, though. I mean, he was the 3rd overall pick, I believe, in that draft. He has a great redemption story going on. They're going to play that up all week. And then Drake May is a high drafted quarterback who's young and could be the next Brady, though. I'm sure they'll play that up all week, too. So I think the ratings will be fine. And I think there is a story to sell here, Doug, with the quarterbacks, even though they're not like Sam Darnold's not like Tyler Schuff or anything. He's like he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's played well this year. Teams is obviously doing very well. He's got a great run. And I still think that you need good quarterback play to win a Super Bowl, and he's played very well.
Well, in a draft where you had Baker Mayfield go 1st overall, Josh Allen was 7th overall, and then I believe you also had
Josh Rosen with 10th.
And Lamar Jackson was the last pick in the 1st round. All that, those are 3 great quarterbacks.
Not Josh Rosen.
Not Josh Rosen. And Sam Darnold is the first one to get to the Super Bowl.
From that class, yeah. It's crazy.
Is that right?
Yep.
That is kind of crazy. 248-539-9797. This week is Senior Bowl week, Scott.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at the Lions, how they've used the Senior Bowl. Last year, Isaac Tesla, Miles Frazier, and Dan Jackson were Senior Bowl kids. The 2023 year, half their draft class, Senior Bowl. 2022, same thing. They seem to use it. They aren't like totally beholden to it, but they definitely seem to use it as a point of, a data point they take into their drafts. There's some guys to watch. And I feel like specifically if your name is Scott Anderson, one name you keep bringing up that I'm intrigued by a little bit is the name Nicholas Singleton.
The running back from Penn State.
Yeah. He will be a Senior Bowl participant and a guy that could be on the Lions' radar. We've watched him in the Big Ten over the last couple of years. You know, the future of David Montgomery is unknown. It's not like the Sione Vaki has come in and lit the world on fire. Could Nicholas Singleton stand out at the Senior Bowl and get on the Lions' radar?
I think he could. I think the Lions have to think about, I mean, particularly if they're going to not move on with David Montgomery, then, yeah, they're going to be hunting for a
not
running.
Move on, you mean?
If they're going to look else, if they're going to let David Montgomery go.
Okay, gotcha.
So if they're going to do that, they're going to have to find another running back. I mean, no offense to Sione Vaki.
Doesn't seem like he's ready. What about Craig Reynolds? Is Craig Reynolds out of the mix? Is he not a true
no
number
offense
two?
to Craig Reynolds,
Okay.
but I think you can look for one of these other running backs later in the draft, 4th, 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you might find either running backs from Penn State. They're both very good.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, the other players, if you want an edge rusher, there are a couple of high-profile edge rushers at the Senior Bowl. David Bailey out of Texas Tech and Akeem Messidor out of Miami. And Messidor, of course, was part of that defense that helped Miami get to the national championship game. He had 12.5 sacks this year, 17.5 TFLs, 6'2", 272. David Bailey had a 14-sack season at Texas Tech, 19.5 tackles for loss. He's 6'3", 250, not quite as big. But those two players, I imagine, will be on a lot of fans' radar.
Yeah, I mean, Messidor is he's a guy that just a couple weeks ago, I think, was thought of as being a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Now he's being touted as a 1st round pick. I like Messidor a lot. I think he gets overshadowed by Bain on that Miami defensive front, but Messidor is, I don't know if he's just as good, but it's tough to separate which one's better. They're both really, really good. I think that the size fits the profile of the edge rusher or defensive end anyway that the Lions look at. That guy is 6'3", 280 pounds, but he's quick and strong and powerful. Messidor, the thing he is over others is older. I think he's like 25 years old. Spent a lot of time playing college football. Does that mean he's ready to hit the ground running at the NFL level? I think maybe.
I'll give you a guy that I will keep my eye on. I think could emerge this week as a possible Detroit Lion. And that is an interior offensive lineman named Kalen Rutledge from Georgia Tech. Could they go from Ratledge to Rutledge in the middle of their offensive line? He is a monster. 6'4", 320 pounds, and off the charts strong. I'm going to keep my eye on Keelan Rutledge, guard, interior offensive lineman from Georgia Tech. Could Ratledge move to center and they put Rutledge next to him and then have Frazier, Mahogany, Glasgow, whatever, battle it out at one of the guard spots? Who knows? But
yeah, the other guy that I'm going to be watching is another edge rusher that is likely to be had after the 2nd round, and that's another guy from Penn State. That's Denny Sutton, who is 6'5" and 270 pounds.
Yep.
Or just under 270 anyway. They list him at 6'5" and 268. I really like what I saw in the second half of the season, watching Penn State games. Whenever you could watch a Penn State game, he seemed to be a guy that stood out. And getting another edge rusher makes sense.
248-539-9797. Hey, Champ and Chump, last chance to get your votes in is this hour. So who should be singled out for having the weekend that was great and who had a weekend that stunk? Get your Champ and Chump votes in. We tally up the votes and post on our website on Tuesday who you, the people, select as Champ and Chump of the weekend. Gator, you've got company. Kurt Warner agrees with you. We will get to that today at 1:18 here on Karsch and Anderson on 97.1.